This video is part of a series of lessons. If you haven't seen the one before, we build a pizza menu where the user can add to the cart or remove from the cart, and we split it into multiple components. Now it's time to do what always is the case when working with real projects. Let's cut some pizza. JavaScript is a language. Don't be scared of JavaScript. JavaScript is very flexible. JavaScript is your friend. It's not magic. Don't be scared of JavaScript. A bit complicated. Quite a bit complicated. Next time we'll start making it a bit prettier. API. It is very rare the menu is just hard-coded in the app. It's very likely that the customer has a way to update the menu, and each user will get the updated menu through an API call. Since we do not have an API, what I've done is I uploaded a JSON on my server. So practically, we want to remove this dependency from pizza.json, and we want to get the JSON from here. And if you are curious about how does it look like, it looks like this, exactly the same. The only difference is the property ordered that we added is not here. So if I go to see how this was actually made, remember command click will open it, and just hovering will show you a preview. Hovering with command. Ordered was added to each element, so we need to add it back after our call. Let's start about how we do that in JavaScript. So basic JavaScript would be fetch of this URL. And this is a promise. You might be used to Axios or any other library. You can use any library in React, but for the purpose of this course, I'm not introducing any library now. And fetch returns a promise, so then I need to take the data, and I want to extract the JSON. And then I will have finally my pizza list, and I can do whatever I want with it. This is the basic JavaScript idea of what I want to do. I haven't saved the file, I'm not running it. I'm just showing you what a fetch would be in pure JavaScript. There are a few considerations. If you have any doubt about promise or then instead of async await, I suggest you look at a specific lesson about how does it work. If you have any doubt about the promise pattern, how then works, about how async await, which is what you will see more often works, I suggest you look at a specific lesson. What I'm worried about here is how do I put this fetch in React? Because what I can be tempted to do is to do the fetch here, and once I get the data, to call the setter for my data. And that's a horrible mistake. Why? Because this is a function, and the function runs in a loop every time the data change. But if every time I do a fetch, I set the data changed. Because on the React point of view, it's a new reference to a new array because it's generated at this point, and it will loop again. And if you loop again, it does another fetch, and you go in an infinite loop. So I need a way to tell React that I want this operation to happen only once when it loads the component. And this is useEffect. We will see more use of useEffect, but if I want something to happen only once, I call useEffect, I pass the function of what I want to happen, and then I pass an empty array. We'll go back to that. For now, let's just say that. Let's format our document, and let's remove any dependency from pizza.json. So we drop our import of pizza, and now we need an initial state. I can put whatever I want here, but remember that at line 40, I'm going to map it. So the easier thing is to use a type which will map to emptiness at the beginning, and that's an empty array. This, of course, will have problems because now it doesn't know how a pizza is made, but we will not worry about TypeScript for now. I will, at a certain point, introduce TypeScript and the advantage of TypeScript on JavaScript on this project, and we will clean up all those small errors. The last thing I need to do, I need to put the property ordered back, because if you remember in the pizza JSON, I added this order to 0. And if I try to run the app now and click plus, remember it will do order plus 1, and because ordered was undefined, it will be casted to not a number, because undefined plus 1 is not a number, which makes perfect sense. So we need to add this ordered 0, or we can change our, but let's just add it. I think is the clean way to see how to modify data. So we go back to our page, and what we want to do is we want to modify the list that we receive. In reality, we're not even going to modify it because, well, it doesn't make sense. So this is our pizza. We get our pizza, and we want to return the same pizza plus the property order 0. So let's refresh here, and now I can order exactly as before. Perfect. As you can see here, there are 2 requests. The reason why there are 2 has to do with React strict mode. If you have any problem because the API has limitations, so the number of times you can call, just disable strict mode from the root of your file, or check the dedicated lesson about how to do that. It is not a problem now. This is the structure that we care about. Notice that there's a dependency array. I'm not going to discuss that now because all the hooks that React provide, which are not many, but they all have a dependency array. So we will have to work a lot on the dependency array in the future. And for this introduction, I think it's enough to remember every time I want to do a fetch, or every time I want to do something only once when the components loads, wrap it in useEffect with an empty array. See you next lesson. And by the way, pizza. Let's code some pizza.